So we have learned that they're going to be using the biggest supercharger that they have used on any production car. I'm pretty confident that the license plate does not refer to any performance of the car whatsoever. So let me explain. Today's video is brought to you by CarLock, the world's best vehicle tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you'll be able to track your car real time, get alerts of anything suspicious happening to your car, such as your car is starting when it shouldn't be starting, any vibrations. Also, if someone decides to unplug your car lock from your car, you'll get a notification for that too. You deserve that peace of mind, and make sure you get your car lock. I do have a discount code for you guys shown on the screen right now. Get 10% off your purchase, as well as 14 days free trial with it as well with that same discount code, man. Get your car lock. You deserve that peace of mind. Let's go ahead and get it to the video. YouTube family, what is going on? You see the title and you see the thumbnail. So Dodge they have figured out their last car. They finally got the kinks worked out. They finally figured out how to stop blowing engines and things of that nature. So Dodge has set to release this car. So a couple months from now, they will be releasing the car and finally unveiling it. As some of you may know, this car is supposed to be unveiled at SEMA, but of course that didn't happen. They had to push it back and delay it. But now they have it figured out, like I said. So now that we have an actual release date for the car, we also know a little bit more about the car. Now, not all the information is available for the car, but there is a little bit more information that's out there. And plus as well, they have not released a name for the car, but I went to look at some of the clues, especially that license plate that was on the original car that they had teasing this new car, and now points to, I think I know what the name of this car is going to be. We're going to get into that as well. So one thing we already know about the car here, and I'm pretty sure everyone has heard the reports and saw, you know, everything while the engine kept blowing. So we already know that the car is going to run on some kind of ethanol based fuel to help bump up the horsepower. What they're saying, this car is going to be pushing over 900 horsepower. We know it's going to be a 6.2 liter supercharged engine. We know that's going to be fact, but what other specs do we know outside of that? So one of the specs that we now know is the actual supercharger. We know it's going to be supercharged, but what size supercharger are they going with? So we have learned that they're going to be using the biggest supercharger that they have used on any production car. If you know the Hellcat supercharger is a 2.4 liter supercharger. The Red Eye and Demon pretty much have the same supercharger. I saw it was like a 2.7, 2.8 liter supercharger for the Red Eye and the Demon. They're going bigger than that for this final call car. Dodge will be using, and this is not a typo, from what I'm seeing here, Dodge will be using a 3 liter supercharger for the 6.2 liter V8 Hemi. This supercharger is not a new supercharger to Dodge. This is a supercharger that they use on the Hellcat. So the Hellcat, yeah, this 426 Hellcat has a supercharger on it, and that has a 3 liter supercharger on that. So they will be using the supercharger from the Hellcat to get the power out of this car. So with them using that big supercharger from the Hellcat, more than likely on pump gas, it probably will be running maybe about 850 horsepower before you do the E85 or whatever, at that point, whatever fuel they plan on using to pump up the power. But after you put that fuel in the car, similar to the Demon, and then it goes to the max power, which will probably at that point then be at the 909, which that's what everyone's expecting to have as the max power. Now with that car pushing that much power, it's safe to say that this car will 100% be a drag racing car, drag focused car. It will pretty much look like the Demon, the Superstock with those 18-inch wheels, the Nitto tires on it, things of that nature, probably have drag mode and all of that. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a drag focused car. It won't come with street tires. I'm not sure if they're gonna give you any like special goodies such as maybe a crate or something like that. I don't know if they're gonna do that or not, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be a drag focused car. That's something we know, right? But Dodge, you know, they like to give us hints, they like to tease us and things of that nature. So we know that when Dodge teased the original car, they showed us a picture of the back of the car with the license plate 1FAST29, and everybody was trying to figure out what does this license plate mean. And this is what I think it means. I'm pretty confident that the license plate does not refer to any performance of the car whatsoever. So let me explain. So we know when the Demon came out, and also I think when the Red Eye came out as well, they teased like the horsepower numbers and things like that. And so a lot of people feel like that number is referring to some sort of performance of the car, things like that. But with all the last call models, every last call model that they released, each name throws back to a previous production model, or not really a production model, such as the Shakedown. That wasn't production, but a previous Dodge car, right? So all of the last call models, right? You have what, the Shakedown, the Swinger, the Super B, and the other two Hellcats, which kind of throw back to some famous drag races such as the Black Ghost and the King Daytona. All of those have some sort of historic reference to it, either a previous model or someone that was kind of big in Dodge. Now, even though other models that Dodge have had, they have used like some of their old names for their newer cars, like the Demon, for example. The Demon, they took it from a totally different. The Demon was completely its own car, and they took that name and put it into the Challenger Demon and gave it that name, right? So because of that, I decided to go back and look at every Dodge car that was ever produced and trying to figure out what name could they possibly use for this car. So I'm looking through all the names. I look like legit through every name that Dodge has ever had for any car that they had. And I was trying to figure out which name sounds the catchiest and make the most sense to call this car. I was thinking at first, maybe it could be the Cornet. A lot of people know the Cornet. They're familiar with the Cornet. But even though people are familiar with it, calling something the Dodge Challenger SRT Cornet didn't make sense. It's an iconic name, everybody likes the car, but like I said, it didn't make sense at that point. I started looking elsewhere. I went way back, right? One name stood out completely. Like, when I read the name, I'm like, that has to be the name of this car. And it's like, when you hear the name, you're like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, this name will stand out, but it's gonna be a car no one was thinking about, and it won't make sense, but the name 100% will make sense. So typically, like, Dodge uses names from like the 60s and 70s in their newer cars and stuff like that. But in this case, they're going back way further than that for this name, right? So I was looking at some of the names for the 60s and 70s because, like I said, that's what they typically use. And none of the names for any of those cars or vehicles really stood out as to a good name for their new car. But I went all the way back to 1927, 1928, and I found a car where the name fits pretty much perfectly what they're trying to do with this car. In 1927, Dodge came out with a car called the Dodge Fast 4. And honestly, I looked up the history of it, and I didn't really see anything significant why they would use that name, with that car, but other than just want to use the name of the Fast 4, right? The Fast 4 came in 3 different series, right? It came in a 124 series, a 128, and a 129 series. How does this tie in to the license plate? If you remember the license plate is 1FAST29. That incorporates the name of the car, the Fast 4, and then 129 is one of the series, is the highest trim of those 3 cars, right? So I'm almost confident, I would say I'm about 85% sure that Dodge is going to use the Dodge Fast 4 as the name for this final Challenger. Now, will it be called the Dodge Challenger SRT Fast 4? Possibly. They may call it the Dodge Challenger SRT FF, maybe. Who knows? But I do think that Fast 4 will somehow be incorporated into the name of this car. And they can market it like this. They could say, this car is the fastest thing on 4 wheels, right? That's something they could say when they go to release this car. Now, for the younger generation, and those of us that know the Fast and Furious movies and stuff like that, that Fast 4 makes it sound like a Fast and Furious car, right? I mean, one of the movies is called Fast 8, Fast 9, stuff like that. And this car is called Fast 4. That's legit. The name of the car is Fast 4, right? And I put the picture up here so I don't forget. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the name of the car, right? And the people that may know it, some of the historians, the MOPAR historians, Dodge historians, stuff like that, they may hear that name and think, okay, I remember this car, and I know where they got it from. So it makes sense that it will go back and use that name. It throws back to a previous model, and also the name of the car is pretty cool. I think it's a dope name. So that is my thoughts about this new car. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be called the Fast 4 in some way, shape, or form. because like with all the other cars, that's what they did. They teased the name of the car and stuff like that. And I think they did the same with this car. It's a throwback model, it's a throwback name, and that's the name they're gonna use. So I'm interested to hear what you all think about that, what you think about the name. Do you like it? Do you think it's a little cheesy? Personally, I think it's a pretty cool name. If you're gonna call your most popular car the Fast 4, I think that's a pretty good name for it. So let me know, drop your comments below. As always, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next video. We're out. Cut it.